sick of you Wantrepreneurs. I really am. I was on a podcast. I think it was one of the big ones, like Entrepreneur on Fire or something. Like I was on one of these podcasts and I was asking the founder, the host, about his audience. I was like, hey, are these mostly seasoned entrepreneurs? Like, should I be talking at a very high level? And he said, no, 90% of his audience, I think it really might have been John Lee Dumas. He said most of his audience don't have companies. They're either spectators into the sport that is entrepreneurship, or they're waiting to make the leap. And in this video, I wanted to tackle that. And so this video is, how do I start a new business with no experience? So here are the 3 things you should do if you don't have a company yet. These 3 things will get you a company within 6 months. All right. And then you won't have an excuse, right? Then you'll be a business owner and maybe you won't have to listen to these business podcasts or watch these videos anymore. And then I can start teaching more advanced stuff to you. So number 1 is, how do you start a business with no experience? Well, you get experience, and you can do that by working for free. So what you should do, and what I did when I was starting out, was make a list of the type of companies I wanted to work for. At the time I was watching a lot of Mad Men. So I liked that sort of business, and I figured I wanted to be an account manager at an advertising firm in New York City. You can do similar. I was also reading a lot of like Tim Ferriss and digging into startup culture and like Noah Kagan and AppSumo, and I was listening to a lot of stuff about startups, so I decided I wanted to move to NYC and work at a startup. So those are my 2 things that I wanted to do. In order to get into the startup, I went into more detail on this background stuff, I think, in a previous video, which I'll link to. But basically, I went out, I got these jobs, and for the first startup, I worked for free for a month doing business development. So figure out what industry you want to be in, get experience in that industry, work for 3 to 6 months. You only really have to work for 1 month for free, and then they'll hire you if your work's good. So save up for 1 month, literally 1 month before you switch your job. Otherwise, there's very low risk to doing it. Once you have worked for 6 months, while you're working, pay attention to everything that's going on in the business, right? How is the founder connected to what you're doing, which I hope is something involving sales, because that's where the money comes from. But what's the founder doing? Is there an operations guy? What's he doing? Is there a finance guy? What's he doing? Is there a coder? Is it coding? What is he doing? Is there a team under the coder? Like, study the hierarchy of the company. Try to figure out as much of what's going on as you can, because the next step is to clone their business. For instance, if they're a services business, which, by the way, services are the easiest type of business to start, because basically you just have to say you do web development, or just say you do X, and you could start selling it to people. And there's no real way to prove that whether you do it or not. So it's a very easy business to get into. If you're in one of those companies, you clone their business, and now you're a web developer, right? Like you just take their business as your own, and then you go and do number 3, which is cold email to find clients. There's a video I did called the actual email script I used to build my first company, which I'll link also in the description below, that outlines the actual cold email I used to get my first clients for Experiment 27. And basically, you'll sit there now. You're either still working at that company that you were working for free at that turned into a regular job, or maybe you quit and you're going all in and living off your credit cards. You're going to be sending as many cold emails as you possibly can. If your salary's high enough, you can hire people in the Philippines or people in Romania or people in India to build the lists for you that you're sending for your cold emails. Otherwise, you're working on weekends and building this list up. Ideally, you want to send about 200 cold emails a week when you're first starting, maybe even more. Customize the crap out of those emails, meet with clients, close a deal or 2, and now you have a business. So that's how you start a business with no experience, right? Get the experience, clone whatever business you jump into, and then cold email to find clients. Now, do you have any other excuses for not starting a business? I'm serious. Let me know in the comments. I'd love more fodder to make videos on. Like this video to encourage this type of content on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel for more B2B sales training. And if you need support for marketing for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Thanks.